We talked about this last week. We were going to rank our top 5 Americans of this generation. Now, we didn't quite define what this generation means, Patrick, but I basically did my list and I said everybody under the age of 40, which means no Dustin Johnson. And the reason I didn't want to have DJ in here is because I want to have a list of players that I find competitive still. And I don't know if DJ is still competitive, right? We've seen him really, really fall off since his win in 2020 at the Masters. He plays on live. We don't see a ton of them outside of the major championships. Even at the majors, we don't see a ton of them because he typically doesn't make the weekend. So I went with a list of players under the age of 40. What was your list as you look at kind of the quote unquote this generation?
I copied you. Under 40.
Okay.
If DJ was in it, top 3 guy for sure. With the longevity and the majors and everything that went along with it. But I copied you. I took your initiative. I went under 40 for our top players of the generation.
And a harder practice, I felt. Like this was tougher than I thought it'd be.
Yeah. The taking DJ out, I mulled over number 5 quite a bit.
Same. So I'm assuming your number 5 is some mix of Xander, Colin, Bryson. Is that right?
Those were the 3 names I was looking at, correct?
Yeah, same for me. So I'll start it off, and I went with Xander as my number 5. Okay, so that means I didn't have Bryson. I didn't have Colin. Bryson, 31 years old, 2 major wins, and a U.S. Amateur. I think that's important to throw in there. 9 PGA Tour wins total, 2 live wins, 1 on the Korn Ferry Tour in his early iterations as a pro. Didn't quite make the list for me. Morikawa, 28 years old, 2 major wins, 6 PGA Tour wins. And honestly, the big knock on Colin, when you look at his wins that are not majors, not the biggest events, kind of weak. No offense to PGA Tour events out there, but they're pretty weak wins away from the 2 victories we've seen, obviously, in the 2 major championships. 1-3 career in playoffs. Did win on the DP World Tour in 2021. Major championship career is pretty polished. 21 starts, 2 wins, 9 top 10s, just 3 missed cuts. But I went with Xander number 5. Who'd you go with?
I went with Xander number 5 as well. Ultimately, I think what you were getting at was it was between Bryson and Xander for this 5th spot. And I was thinking about the USAM win, but I think something that's really going to appreciate and value in the future, Shane, is that Olympic gold medal of Xander Schauffele. And
100%
so
agree.
You give him that. You give him 2 majors as well, but 2 different majors, which I looked at also. And so Xander slotted in number 5 for me.
So Xander, 31 years old, 2 major wins, 9 total PGA Tour wins. One of those was a team event, by the way. I think that's important to point out. 2 wins on the DP World Tour. I like seeing those types of things. You know, obviously worldwide victories. You mentioned the gold medal in the Olympics. The major record is crazy good. 31 starts in major championships, 2 wins, 16 top 10s, 24 of 31 top 20 finishes for Xander, and he's only missed 3 cuts in the major championships. One of those players that's just always around. Like a lot of yellow on the Wikipedia, a lot of impressive finishes, even when he's not in contention. And when you go down the list of these other players we have in our top 5, the percentage is not what Xander has in terms of major play.
And of those 24 top 20s, Shane, 12 are currently in a row. He's on that hot streak right now with 12 straight top 20s in major championships, which is insane. 5 straight top 10s also. And one thing we haven't mentioned, because, you know, it's a record that I think is a bit misleading almost with the no-cut events. He has the longest made cut streak since Tiger Woods. So just to add to that consistency of his.
Crazy. So we both have Xander 5. Number 4 for me, and this was tough. This is tough. 4 and 3 were tough for me.
Mm-hmm.
I got Justin Thomas at number 4. You?
I also have Justin Thomas at number 4.
Wow. So
go ahead.
The resume, Patrick, the resume of JT, 32 years old, 2 major wins, 16 PGA Tour wins. Within those 16 wins, by the way, 2 majors, a Players, 2 WGCs, 2 FedEx Cup playoff wins, a signature win, won the FedEx Cup in 2017, 5-2 playoff record, 1 on the Korn Ferry Tour, and I started to include this on the list of players, won the PGA Tour Player of the Year in 2016, 2017, which is something a lot of the guys don't have. I mean, Rory's got 3, Scotty's got 3, but there's a lot of big names that don't have this. And I like to include that because it shows what one of his seasons was like.
Okay, that is good. Another thing that you did not mention, a world number 1 also, which
Good point.
not everyone on this list is going to be able to say, which is kind of crazy when you look at the top names that we're going to be listing out. But yeah, I looked at JT, and obviously that run in 2017 was unbelievable. And I think when you talk about the top players of the generation, to be a top player during a year, kind of like the Player of the Year award you were alluding to, I think you got to look into that. Also, I think to be the guy during a run is important when you're talking about being the guy over a generation.
Major record for JT, not that impressive. You look outside of the 2 wins, 37 major starts, 8 top 10s, and really not in contention in any of those beside the 2 victories. I mean, his best finish outside of the 2 wins was 4th in that December Masters. He was 8 back of DJ. So the interesting part of Justin Thomas's career is you think about him being this elite level player at the biggest events. He has those 2 wins, which is huge, right? I mean, very impressive. But you look at the way he's played, never really played Augusta that well, which is surprising.
Weird.
The Open Championship run is really bleak. No top 10s at the Open. Kind of think about the way we define Justin Thomas as this incredibly talented, all the shots, hits it in every window, great short game. And then you see that stuff and you're like, is he the right guy? Like, is this who he really is?
Yeah, it's bizarre. I always thought the Masters thing, it seems like every year he just makes a mess of number 13. Like that hole he can just not figure out for whatever reason. And I thought honestly adding distance to it would help him, but he was playing in the azaleas this year too with it. I'm surprised about the Open record, Shane, with all the flight shots he has, and how at some courses like a St. Andrews, we saw Cameron Smith really get wild off the tee and get away with it and still win. So you have to remember he does have 2 course records in majors, the Winged Foot, the first round there, and then obviously Saturday at the U.S. Open in the pink pants with you on the scene also. So he does have that going for him, but it is surprising how scattered it is.
I thought that the gap would be between 4 and 5 when I was doing this. I thought the gap would be JT, Gap, Xander. And the more I think about this, I think that gap is a lot closer than I might have thought it was going to be off the bat. I think Xander is almost 4B, to JT's 4A when you think about him as a player. Obviously, JT having, you mentioned it, the great season and great runs. And you forget how good he was. You forget how impressive JT was when he was in his prime. But the consistency of Xander, man, it's so crazy how good he is. All right, so number 3, you'll know this better than me. Now, there's a rumor that Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth are friends. Is that accurate?
Okay, I will have to send some text out.
Josh, look that up. Let me know if they are in fact friends. But close once again. I got Jordan Spieth as number 3.
Okay, I do not have Jordan Spieth as number 3. I have Scotty Scheffler as number 3. As it currently stands. Explain
to me why you have him over Jordan.
So Scheffler, 2 major championships, the same major championship. I do value being able to get the job done on the biggest stage in different major championships. So Spieth having 3 different ones, as opposed to Scheffler having 2, obviously, but 2 of the same. I looked into. Scheffler's numbers are unbelievable when you look at them, especially recently with 13 wins, over 100 weeks at world number 1, the Olympic gold medal, back-to-back players championships, 3 straight player of the year awards. Like you mentioned, only Tiger can do that. But I think once he, Scheffler's a guy I look at where once he wins away from Augusta National, I could see him jumping to number 1, honestly, going from 3 to number 1. But I just couldn't quite put him past Spieth. Same number of PGA Tour wins too, with only the major wins at Augusta National.
So I originally had Spieth ahead of Scotty. And then I
Okay.
started to dive into Scotty's career. He's 28 years old, so he's 3 years younger than Jordan Spieth. You mentioned the 2 major titles and both of them being at Augusta does hurt the case. I think that's probably the best argument for Jordan is the fact that he's got 3 different majors in his 3 major victories. But when you look at Scotty's wins, I mean, it
Yeah.
is wild. 2 majors, 2 players, 1 WGC, 1 FedEx Cup, 5 signature events. The 2 wins that he aren't signature wins are in theory signature wins, like Phoenix before signature wins existed, Bay Hill before they existed as well. Every win he's had has been at the biggest of big golf tournaments. He's won the Hero twice. I mean, I'm not going to put a lot of weight on that, but it's something. You mentioned the gold medal. I mean, he was the Korn Ferry Tour Player of the Year back in 2019. So he's been Korn Ferry Tour Player of the Year and PGA Tour Player of the Year 3 times. And then I started to do numbers on Scotty's career. This is when I think I finally tipped. He's finished in the top 10 46% of the time he started a PGA Tour event. 46% of the time. Top 10, not top 25, not making the cut. But even wilder than that, 25% of his career on the PGA Tour, he's finished in the top 3.
Wow. That's insane.
He's not been around for a year. This dude's had a career. 25% of his career on Sunday night, he's at first, second, or third. That is wild.
That's insane. Okay.
So I think the argument is, I'll be interested to hear what people say, Jordan or Scotty. A couple of droughts for Jordan, obviously, in his career. Jordan popped on the scene much younger. He had the big drought between 2017 and 2021. Now, obviously, 2022 to now, no victories. I think that's also a testament to how good he was when he was good, when he was picking up all those victories. There's the famous picture. They are friends, apparently. So, yeah, it is true that Jordan and Justin are buddies, and we'll get more on that in a bit. And then number 1, I'm assuming you got Brooks, number 1.
I do. One more thing for Spieth, something we haven't mentioned. 5-time Ryder Cup or 4-time President's Cup guy, too. And obviously very early, but he won the U.S. Junior twice, I think.
Twice. Yep.
Yeah. So
I think he's the only multiple junior AM champion besides Tiger. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Scotty also won the junior, by the way, I think.
He did. He beat Davis Riley.
Yeah.
Absurd that I know that. I do have Brooks number 1. The one knock, I actually think there are a couple of knocks on Brooks. Obviously, not winning a ton away from the major stage is one of them. And then the second is never reached world number 1, which is pretty crazy to say. But, man, during that run from 17 through 2020, honestly, it was major championship. Brooks Koepka is going to be there on Sunday, and you knew it. And the only thing that could beat him was honestly JB Holmes at Port Rush. It felt like just slow playing him to death. So
Brooks was in the yellow, just so mad.
So pissed. Mad. Bad weather, rainy, cold. JB Holmes taking 12 hours to play the final round. And so when you have 5 major championships during this era, the most among your peers, I know Rory just matched him. He's got to be the top guy.
Yeah, 34 years old. You mentioned the 5 major wins, 9 total PGA Tour wins. I think something impressive about Brooks that people forget about is he's a very well-traveled golfer. You know, you think about his career. He's won on the European Tour. He's won twice on the Japan Golf Tour, 4 times on the Challenge Tour when he came out of college and went over there, decided to play Challenge and not play Korn Ferry. 5 live wins. I mean, which is not nothing, right? I mean, at this point, at some point, historically, we're going to talk about live wins when you talk about these players because there's going to be players over there doing that, and that's not nothing. PGA Tour Player of the Year in 17 and 18. 16 top 6 finishes in majors, which is pretty impressive as well. It was, it was interesting, Patrick, when he played well in a major, he was right there, right? Mm-hmm. And if he didn't play well in a major, he was not in it. And so I think for Brooks, it felt like when he came in and he was focused and he was ready, there was an opportunity he was going to win the major championship. And obviously he got 5 of them. And I think he's the most impressive and dominant figure in golf since Tiger in the sense that people didn't want to see him, in one of those final 3 groups.
The presence he had.
Yeah. Outside of 19 when he, dumped it in the water. And that was kind of, honestly, that kind of ruined about 4 careers. 19 did. I know he won a major after that, but I think the water balls on 12 might have ruined like 7 dudes that in that 2019 Masters.
I think about the revolving door at the Masters so much. Like if Molinari wins that one, that would have been 2 in a row for him, right? And you haven't
Both
heard
over Tiger, like both taking down Tiger.
And you haven't heard from him since, really.
Nope.
Like he was
really
the career.
The hole in one at Pinehurst was kind of it, right? That's like the last time we heard his name when he made the hole in one to make the cut. Outside of that, he was so steady, so impressive. Remember, he played so well in that Ryder Cup as well. He was like the guy.
My God, so good.
It was him and Fleetwood, right? And they were just like beating people down. And then since that Masters, completely lost who he was. Like Tony's always going to be Tony, but Brooks, I think Brooks was wanting that moment in his career. I want to face Tiger. I want to show him who I am. It's kind of like the Rockets are like, give me the Warriors. We could take those guys down. And then all of a sudden you're like, we're down 3-1. We haven't even played a bad game yet, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. If Brooks wins that Masters, he has the Grand Slam by now.
Wow. Interesting. I like that. I like that take. I don't know which Open it would have been, but he might have done it. So there you go. Really, we only had one dispute, and that was what was that, 2 and 3?
2 and 3.
Yeah, so I was Brooks, Scotty, Jordan, JT, Xander, and you were Brooks, Jordan, Scotty, JT, Xander.
And I believe you, the fans will be on your side on that one.
Yeah, comment. Let us know what your 5 are. Basically, your top 5 Americans under the age of 40 in their historical relevance in terms of professional golf right now. And we'll see if people agree with us or not.